All right, Tuesday. Happy Tuesday? I guess not. Man, what an idiot. Like, I just started covering these things for fun, to keep up with like gaming news and like trends and new gaming releases and all that stuff. I seriously wanted to steer clear of politics, but politics found its way into my hobby, into my pastime, my possible career choice. And for what reason? Well, you see, a bunch of Twitch streamers, strippers, basically the same thing, except instead of taking off their clothes, they take away their morality and sense of self-worth. But like for real, like Hasan Piker has basically kicked off World War III with like his BS and his constant love of the Houthi rebels. Like, yo, he's massaging the Houthi rebels, like, backs and balls and stuff. Motherfucker out here, like, starting all this stuff, causing all this shit. And, yo, real talk, he's not gonna go get on a plane and fight with his homies and shit. He'll, like, stay in his, like, mansion and ask other people to fight, kill, and die for his cause. And basically, the breaking news is Israel has just attacked Yemen's international airport. So that's basically a declaration of war, right? Actually, I have a script. I'm going to read off of this script because I don't want to get too out of it. All right, where's it? Okay. So yeah, so like that's basically concerning all things concerning. Like it's a declaration of war, and I want to shout out to Tal Oran, the traveling clat, for breaking this story. Because it's like, here we are again with the winners and the losers, right? Yemen is gone, and I can't help but feel, you know, I can't help but feel. Oh, wait a minute. I'm having a rapid heart pulse crisis. I need medicine. Uh... Honestly, can you blame me? All things considered, right? All right, I'm gonna do the job that mainstream media and news has failed to do for over a decade. Does anyone think that people in the Middle East watch Twitch, henceforth view or follow Hasan Piker? I said in my previous crap. I said in my previous video to the donations of this region. Again, I am sorry for commenting on your business, Amaranth, yet due to the recent events, I believe it's important to gauge the attitude and habits when it potentially involving terrorist activity, right? So basically, like, these guys got nothing to do all day, and like they'll spend unhealthy amount of time on Twitch, and like Amaranth is well known around Turkey specifically, but mostly around the Middle East and stuff, as being, the go-to girl for your self-pleasuring, habits. I don't, like this is where we're at right now. Like politics, world politics are being influenced by people like this, like this insanity and stuff, right? All right, so like it's gotten so far and widespread that like people who are outside of the conflict, people who are neither Jewish or Muslim, are jumping in. I actually don't know if Mike from PA, yeah, that's his name by the way. It was like just this guy I called like the cuck of iBunny. His name is Mike from PA. Yeah, that's his name. Weird name. Weird guy. Okay, so basically this guy was insulted harsh. Like first he was aired out on the internet, and then PewDiePie like did a video commenting on it. And like PewDiePie's like the biggest dude on the internet. Like yo, he's gonna get millions of people watching his videos no matter what, right? And then uh, he's just a Minecraft player. What do you think about it? And like from him, so much has been created. Like just him created like a swarm of copycats, you know, playing games, trying to make money off of streams, and trying to be like the success of, you know, that individual, PewDiePie. You know, I think his name is Felix, right? And for some reason, like the insanity of one man can spawn, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be one long video. Alright. Well, you know, I'm basically a reporter at this point, so I can remember the three big names at the beginning of the internet, like before like any of this like stuff popped off, which was the aforementioned PewDiePie, Nostalgia Critic, and Angry Video Game Nerd. And it's just, you know, those three people spawned like so many copycats and people like trying to emulate their success, that you see the holification of humans, right? Like, case in point, DSP. Like, he is on a begging streak of no end. Like, he's clapping his hands, he's, you know, constantly and aggressively asking his audience to donate to him. And like, even though I'm getting off topic with this, it's like the atmosphere, the environment which these people exist in, right? The Twitch, the, you know, the donate to me for being like a, you know, whatever, a gamer, I guess. Um, and even Hasan himself, you know, I remember seeing him like during the Young Turks and stuff, like back in the day before he got into streaming it, and he basically got there from his uncle, right? And he was your typical like dude bro jock guy. And the only reason he's gotten fame is because Muslims need an output for their like rage and frustration. Like he's the terrorist cheerleader through and through, right? Like, and that's why so many people like have affinity for him. Both, you know, the youths and the incels, which is it's just funny, right? Like he wouldn't want to like acknowledge that, but like everybody from Mike from PA to like even other people, like there's literal crowds and like groups of people, mostly from the Middle East, who are incels, right? Like we're talking about, you know, the so-called refugees, a bunch of guys who are like, you know, teenagers, you know, young adults, 30s, sometimes 40s, 50s, and they're just fucking losers, right? And here we are dealing with like Hassan running his mouth, and he doesn't have to deal with the consequences of this. You know, the Yemen airport is gone, and like this is a declaration of war from Israel's part. So we've watched, at least from my point of view, Twitch streamers entering into world politics and failing miserably. Like you've cost so much human lives in this endeavor of yours to like cheerlead for them, and the best you can do is get on a plane and fight for your cause. Get everybody on your iDubbbz video to get on a plane and go to Yemen and fight against the IDF, because you guys are pure shit talkers and you guys need to get it, man. You guys need to get your fucking lips smashed. You guys get to get beat up. You guys need to get every single thing that you push towards, like pretty much all these other people, civilians, Jewish people, Ethan. You need to get that. And the reason why I'm saying that without any hesitation is because, yo, you caused it. You don't think for a second that these people from the Middle East with like a very low level of education see this shit going on and they think to themselves, oh, look, everybody's on our side. Everybody's gonna help us and stuff. And it's just like, yo, they don't even know the context of Mike from PA. Like, I didn't even recognize the guy. Like, the guy comes out of nowhere, and he just looks like a, you know, your typical dude from the 90s, guy straight out of the basement and stuff. Maybe like a huge Star Wars fan. And he's just like, yo, you should attack Ethan Klein. And like this escalation has led to this. You know what I mean? Like, we can't pretend that like the streamers, specifically Hasan Piker, isn't responsible for this right now. Like this conflict that's happening, which is probably going to stretch for years to come started over a Twitch argument and like, somebody cheerleading for a bunch of Houthis and like live streaming with him. Like the man is a dumbass. Like how do you like okay, I understand that like you probably don't give a shit about anything what I or anybody else has to say, but like how dumb can you be? You're Muslim, right? And you get your fellow Muslim on a live stream to incriminate him, and then you bring this conflict on his doorstep now. Because he's got to live through this shit, not you. He does. Do you even have contact with this guy? Do you even know what he's going through right now? Because I'm pretty sure, like he's probably picking up a gun and he's going in, right? And this is the sadness that you have these Twitch streamers, and I complain about them. They're ruining my like gaming experience by like jacking up the price on the systems, the games themselves. And now we gotta pay out like a premium for online services, like something like 100 plus a year. In Canada, it's like $109 plus tax a year. I haven't figured it out yet because I don't want to pay that much. And like I'm complaining about that, and then you bring it into like politics into this. And just like I said, like Ethan was stupid to talk to these people because that debate and then bringing Mike out of his basement, his like you see his little Luigi toy in the background. What a fucking dude! Like honestly, they should stick him on a bomb and drop him in the Middle East, man. Just for his fucking mouth, running his mouth like that. What a little bitch, man. Talking about like, yo, he's gonna get a metal pipe and shit. Dude, you couldn't even lift a metal pipe, let alone put it down because it's probably like attached to your body pillow because you probably broke it so many times and you just have to like maintain its like orientation and shape somewhat. Well, like real talk, man, like World War III, because it starts with this, and then what's Russia doing, right? If Russia jumps in this fight, which they might, all things considered, which is like, they have difficulties and issues with Ukraine or whatever, and they just feel like as if, all right, let me just put my 2 cents in here, and like, I'll claim this, I'll claim that, and we got World War III, just like that. That's all it takes. And anybody want to like, call me on my bullshit saying like, oh, it's just between Yemen and Israel. It's a close conflict that first involved Syria and Israel, then Jordan and Israel, now Yemen and Israel. It's just a contained conflict that's not going to involve any other nations and just Muslims versus Jews. That's what we are dealing with right now. Fuck, I lost my I lost my place on the script. Oh, by the way, like so Hassan, being the typical coward, the leader of the losers. And let's talk about that for a minute. Like, do you want to talk about like the largest problem on this planet right now? Like the biggest group of losers that we have to deal with right now. Those so-called refugees. And I'm not talking about like south of the border, like, Mexico, like South America. I'm not American, so I don't really know all what the deal with it is with that. And I know that like a lot of people in South America are like suffering and stuff, like Honduras. So I can't speak on their plight specifically, but I know that like people have one thing or another to say about that. But specifically the Middle East, right? So you're getting like a bunch of guys jumping into these countries, mostly men, and like just like everybody says, fighting age, yada yada yada. But like I'm not unrealistic, right? Like I know for a fact that a lot of them are gonna stay in the country and they're never gonna leave, right? So what's gonna happen when the ratio for male to female doesn't suit them coming in this country? And maybe some of them might like, fall in love, get married, but not all of them. So what do you do, right? And like I gotta bring this up because this is the modus operandi of like these terrorists and stuff is to like do things first and think never. Like they just never think about anything before they do it. And now we're dealing with a crisis that's probably going to end the sovereignty of Yemen as we know it. Like if you look at Yemen, like a lot of it is concrete desert. It's just bombed out, mostly destroyed. And the idea that there's anything left to salvage in this country is just a myth, and the fact that their international airport just got hit, they're done for, right? Like, because like, do you want to know why Discord got banned in Turkey? You know, incels killing women, or femicide as it is called, right? There's a video about it, like explaining it in greater detail. But the gist of it is like this guy calls this lady's like this girl's mom. I don't know if it's his girlfriend or whatever. And then the mom comes to pick her daughter up or whatever. But then the guy like takes the severed head, throws it off the building, and then commits suicide. And that's just like one case, but that was like one of the famous cases. And because he was like using Discord, they just banned it throughout the country. But like, yo, it's not the problem of the program. It's the problem of the people who live there. This is like the people, they're just losers. They can't admit defeat. They do bad things. They try to cover for each other. This is like the winners and the losers. Like the October 7th attack, right? And Hassan himself denied, you know, this very thing that like they'll sexually assault women, right? This is the winners and the losers basically. As a Hindu myself, well, I'm not a Hindu anymore. I converted to Buddhism. Like I've experienced, the kind of like racism and the kind of aggression that you get from these types of people, and they will accuse us of doing things that they do, and like do things like purposely like throw out garbage and defecate in public, and they'll turn around and blame us, right? Even the Sikhs and stuff, which is the blood relatives of the Muslims, they use sexual assaults like a weapon to like use against people like back in their own country naturally, right? But when they come here, they gotta change, right? But then those like old habits die hard, and we got like the grooming gang scandal, which is like they're trying to cover this up. Like the whole UK government, all like all the interest groups that would be implicated, the Punjabis, right? They're all trying to cover this up because this is something that will haunt them for generations. Like the fact that they went this far and like like basically made history, if you will, for being just terrible. And even though like as bad as that is, like we have other people who are like bring it up, like Elon Musk and like surprisingly J.K. Rowling, which is funny because I saw J.K. Rowling. Well, I don't know if she made the game, but like the Harry Potter game, and I never seen the movies or watched any of the movies. Sorry, read the books, watched any of the movies, but it's just like I find that funny that like she jumps in and she's like calling out them, and plus the radical left, where guys are trying to like go into female bathrooms. But this is what we're dealing with, like the winners and the losers, right? Like all can't be winners and losers, right? And the fact that like people would fight her over it, a woman, to say that hey, no, women shouldn't decide, if men could go in female bathrooms and stuff, you know. But to end this off, I kind of have to admit something. I I watch a lot of cringe stuff on the internet, like cringe compilations, nice guys, a lot of things. And one of my biggest guiltiest pleasures was this guy called Incel TV, but he rebranded his name to Rehab Room because mostly I think he's like scared of getting banned or getting like whatever his channel deleted. But yeah, he's a guy from the Middle East, talking to other incels, most likely from the same place. And it's funny to see how like they will criticize men, mostly like male models. Like I watch their channel and I know like the name of male models. Like I've never met, like I've seen them vaguely. Like oh, this is the guy from the music video. This is that guy from like I don't know magazine cover. And it's like yeah, they know these guys' name by name and stuff. And it's like when you think about it, even like Hassan and his crew and stuff, like they have that a little weirdness to them where look, if that's their way of like living and they want to be with, the same gender, fine, right? But like just because you have this anxiety over that, and like, a lot of your men are going to die, alone, aforementioned losers, right? Like, you're gonna have to understand that, like, this isn't going to resolve itself with you entering in and, like, saying anything, because at this point you're 100% responsible. And like, are you going to go Hasan Piker? Are you going to go to Yemen and fight, pick up a gun, and, like, throw your life into the fray? No, I don't think so. Because you're a coward. You'll let someone else die for you.